Hi everyone, I'm Anthony O'Flynn. I'm the director of the Paradigm Shift Summit, and I've been getting a lot of emails, messages on my socials about what's happening with the event for 2022. If you haven't heard of the Paradigm Shift Summit before, it's a very eclectic and diverse event with a range of topics from mindfulness to UFOs and an overall focus on the co-creation of the new paradigm, the birthing of the new earth. So it really is a progressive event, and we basically started it in 2016. So it ran for 5 years to 2020. We even had it during 2020 with all the obstacles and challenges in that year, which we're all aware of. We took a break from it last year, and the event this year will not be going ahead. And the reason for that is that several reasons, but with everything that's happened in the world, there's been so many changes, and we're living in a time of genuine, profound change. I feel it's time to sort of take stock and reflect on what that means for the event and where it needs to go and how it can have the biggest impact and help people the most with everything that is happening and is going to continue to intensify in the future. But probably the biggest reason really of all is I've made this decision because I have bought a property, an acreage on the Sunshine Coast, and I've moved there, and I'm setting up the property for sustainable principles to produce food and to become more independent and move away from all these control systems, which are now starting to speak about some of these issues around food and water, actually, even in the mainstream media now. So by applying the principles of permaculture and syntropics, I'm hoping that that this will lead to a more sustainable living. And it's been quite a time-consuming process, not just moving, renovating the house and starting to prepare the land. And it's quite new to me, so I'm always underestimating how long things will take and the processes involved. So this has been set up for the long term. So there really is a lot of work to do, and this is something that I'm really focusing on. It's probably my major priority at the moment for this year. I have other projects that I'm working on, but this really is the number one thing. And in the interim last year, I actually published a book, Paradigm Shift, The Global Awakening of Humanity, 2020 to 2040 by Anthony O'Flynn, that's me. And yeah, it's basically a book documenting the shift and how to transform our inner reality, our inner world, to prepare ourselves to receive, accept and integrate the new energies that are flooding the planet to go through this genuine transformation. So it's basically a book that I've written. It's been a long time coming, applying the principles of classical spirituality and discussion of the pitfalls and some of the challenges the New Age have, and also of the awakening community, the freedom movement. So it really is a current book. It is very contemporary in its outlook, and it's really a manual for our awakening. And I feel I got a lot out of this book just by writing it, actually. So the other thing is that I'm planning on running a retreat next year in the first half of the year, navigating the shift, which is those who feel called to start to take the evolution to a new level, focusing particularly on the inner world and how we can navigate these challenging times to accelerate our own awakening. So that's going to be a very profound journey, and I'm really excited about running this retreat, actually. So if you want to know more about that, contact me through the Paradigm Shift website or through the socials, and I'll let you know what's happening with that. Also, if you want to book in for a one-on-one session with me to help support you through coaching, mentoring through how to navigate the shift, you can also contact me. We can do that here in person in the Sunshine Coast, or on the phone or on Skype. So there's that as well. But basically, we are in this time of profound change, and what I see occurring in the next short period of time in the short term is that things are actually going to get more difficult. Some people at least are assuming that because the pandemic is over, things will be going back to normal. If you're watching this video, you probably don't think that, but in my view, things are going to get extremely challenging in the next 6 to 18 months with the control systems tightening and also major problems with the economy. So this will lead us into the increasing awareness from the collective that the dysfunction of these systems and the decay of these systems means that when there is a vacuum before the new earth really stabilizes and these new systems, these new institutions are more coherent, more integrated, more harmonious, this vacuum period could be genuinely quite chaotic, and this may be the most challenging time of all. So we can see now that really since 2020 and the pandemic, that things have really started to accelerate, and the mass awakening that's now occurring is not going to the spiritual dimensions of things overall just yet, but more an awareness of the control systems and of the dysfunction of these systems, of the corruption, of the abuse of power, and all the other issues that I'm sure you're aware of if you're watching this video, that the collective is now becoming aware of, and it's only going to intensify because the agenda that is being pushed forward is also intensifying in terms of linear time. So we basically have these two colossal forces of consciousness, of the dark and the light, going head to head now, and ultimately the new paradigm will be born one way or the other. The real issue is how much collateral damage will be done along the way, which is the tragedy that's unfolding now is totally diabolical, and it will be quite confronting for many people to actually see what's going on, because the time frames available now for people to understand what's really occurring in the agenda of many of these organisations, these transnational organisations, the governments, etc., is shortening. So it means that the speed of events is intensifying. So there's less time to come to terms with what reality actually is. So if you're watching this on the Paradigm Shift Summit YouTube channel, you're welcome to follow me on my own channel. I'll put a link, Anthony O'Flynn, where I'm uploading content regularly, and you can watch that. And I hope to see you at a future Paradigm Shift Summit. We're looking into holding it possibly next year. I think that we'll have to take stock and see how things unfold. I'm not sure if we'll definitely have it on the Gold Coast again. I think the Gold Coast is a great location to have it for a lot of reasons. It makes it very accessible for people in Australia and internationally to access. And it's got a lot of really good attributes, and it's really quite a good location for the event. But I'm not sure if it's the right place going forward. So if you've got any suggestions, then please let me know. I'm not opposed to having it in a capital city or even here on the Sunshine Coast. So a lot of this really depends on the actual venue itself, not just the city or location. So I'm open to suggestions. The event won't be going ahead this year. I'm just following my own inner guidance. I don't think it's necessary for everyone, obviously, to take the course of action that I've taken. Everyone's journey into the new paradigm will be different. But I'm feeling called to do this now, and as a consequence, not called to run the event this year. And I'm learning to trust in my inner guidance more, and this is the course of action that's correct for me at this stage. And we'll have to see what happens in the future. I'm excited of what the future will bring in terms of a greater revelations, greater awakening, and greater integration of the consciousness of the new paradigm. And that will be exciting to see how it plays out and shapes the event itself. So Trust that you're all doing well, and I look forward to seeing you in the future at one of the events that I'm holding, if it's a holistic yoga event or Paradigm Shift Summit or the retreat. Stay connected on socials. I'm on YouTube, I'm on BitChute, I'm on Telegram, and I'm supremely confident that we are basically birthing the new Earth together. It's very challenging, but at the same time, the greater the challenge, the greater the opportunity for a genuine transformation, genuine growth, and I'm sure that in the end the light will prevail. So thanks for watching. Stay connected for the future, and as always, we live in epic times.